Hi FlossTube Stitchers, and good morning, Rhonda. As you can see, I'm kind of filming a different way today. I have my iPad turned, and usually I'm looking up at that corner for the camera, and then I realized the camera's over there. But when I focus my attention on that part of the iPad, it actually looks like I'm looking in that direction and not right at you. So I think what I'm doing now is working. I've tried 3 times, but I think this will uh, give me an opportunity to show you different snippets of the shop so that you can see more models on the wall, and then it wouldn't give such a wide view that would be distracting from what I'm trying to show you, or that I would have to clean up before I film, especially since we're not quite done getting the shop back in order yet. So I'm going to start off today's video with the Grace Notes Fabrics Trunk Show, because if you saw the title of the video, that might be why you tuned in, right? So I have some pictures and I have a video. I did it a couple times because, again, when things go into iMovie, they don't always show up the same way. So I think this method that I did is going to work. I hope I move the camera slowly enough and focused enough that you can actually see the name and the count of the fabric. But if you have any questions, just maybe take a screenshot and let me know if there's something that you're interested in but you can't quite tell what it is. I started off with the Aida, and I went in order 14, 16, 18, 20, and then I went into the even weaves and linen. So at least it's organized and the fabrics are in alphabetical order. I did that for myself mainly because that's the way I roll, and also because I wanted to make sure everything was checked off of the packing list from the trunk show. So please enjoy the video and let me know what you think. And also, she sent 2 fat quarters to use as door prizes or giveaways. And although I ordered the trunk show specifically for October for our tour to stitch, it's for the whole month and it's for all of my customers. So we already give something away for the tour, and we're not supposed to do extra giveaways out of fairness to the other shops participating. So I decided I would use these for my viewers because you buy a lot of fabric. So I have a fat quarter of Leo in 14 count Aida, a really nice denim-y shade. And then I have Strawberry Latte in 28 count linen. So if you want to win either of those, just put Aida or linen in your comment. And if you're like me and you stitch on every count fabric and you're interested in either one of them, you can say Aida and linen. You won't get both, but it'll just depend on how other people comment for how I distribute the fabric. So just put Aida, linen, or both in your comment. And okay, let's get on with the video. right, I'm back with my vintage stitch, and this is a Halloween design that was from 2010, I think. I think that's what the sheet said. And I probably did it right away. It was one of those charts that we got at Market to reproduce for our customers. And so I stitched a model, and it's called Halloween from Cherrywood Design Studio, which if you were stitching back then, you know, turned into hands-on design and needle bling designs. But when they were designing and working together, it was Cherrywood Design Studio. And let's see, I don't think I need that anymore. All right, so I did the model on Prank, Picture This Plus. And you know what? I didn't look to see the count, but I think it's 32. And I believe this is a standard size frame. And so to make it fit a little bit better, I added a piece of Halloween ribbon. So also my tip for the day is buy ribbon at the chain stores after the holidays are over. And keep it in mind for something like this. It doesn't always have to be a bow. It could be something that embellishes your design as well. And I'm pretty sure that I just pinned it to, well, let's see, did I do this? No, my framer did this. So I think I had her pin the ribbon to through the fabric and the foam cord as she was pinning the whole piece. I don't think it's glued at all or tacked down any other place. I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to get it out of whack. But if it was a longer piece, either vertically or horizontally, you might want to do something else, or just make sure it's really taut so that it doesn't move. So there you go, a vintage and a tip at the same time. All right, I shall move that out of the way. All right, and then because it's right here in front of me, I'll go ahead and do the winner from last week's video. And it was Hello Pumpkin from Cherry Blossoms. And out of all the pumpkin comments, the random number generator picked Sandra Beaver, and I did reach out and ask for her mailing address so I can get this out to her. And then I will show you my results from the Needle Art Show that was recently held, sponsored by Medina Needlework Guild. And I'm just gonna, it's kind of random order just based on the number of the entry. So the first one I have, which I'm so glad I got this done in time and had it framed, because we're doing a Bent Creek customer exhibit for the tour, and this is a Bent Creek design. So this is one of their kits called Snowman of Snowflakes, done on the 20 count linen with pearl cotton. And one of the reasons that I chose this for an entry is because I just wanted the general public who goes through the library, I just wanted them to see that not all cross-stitch pieces have to be on high counts of linen. I also was really curious to see what the judges would say about this, because there's no specific category for this count linen on their program, but or on their judging guideline sheet, but they are very adaptable. And the club wants to accept everything and figure out what category it's going to go in. They don't want to say no. So anyway, the other reason was I really liked the framing that Bonnie had picked out, and the comment was clever. Rustic frame and piece work well together. And I'm like, yes, we did it. All right, then the next piece I showed you just recently, and this was Patriotic Quaker by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And as I had mentioned before, I chose to enter this, not knowing that Bonnie was gonna enter hers of the same ilk, but it's like a kind of a shadow box style. It stands up on its own, although I always have her put screw eyes and wire just in case I have a different grouping I want to do. But I just wanted to show how you can do a shadow box effect and put a different colored mat around the sides for some extra interest. And they said, the framing complements the piece beautifully. Yes, partly why we enter is to advertise Bonnie's custom framing business and her expertise and her eye for color and that sort of thing. All right, so then we have something that I stitched a while ago, and I think I just had to finish it not so long ago. I remember sewing beads on for the eyes, and I can't remember if there was, maybe I had to fill in a section of it. I can't remember what exactly I had left to do, but I had stitched it a while ago, and I thought, let me look at my stitching here and make sure this looks good enough to enter. But the main reason I entered this is because of the framing. She picked this out immediately. I just love those little paw prints, and I think the color of the paw print looks really nice with the frame. And unfortunately, this chart is out of print. It's by Amy Brecken Designs, and I asked her about it not too long ago, and she said, sorry, none left. I have exactly one chart to sell. I think it's $6. So I couldn't get any more. So if anyone's interested, let me know immediately, because I will put this out with the one chart in my shop. And when it's gone, and I take the model home. And what they said was, wait for it, kudos to finishing within the novel theme of the piece. So once again, Bonnie and I scored on that. Okay, and then the last piece I entered, I usually enter 4 pieces. It's $5 a piece for non-members, and I always think 20 bucks sounds good. That's a good kind of donation to the club. So I also showed this recently on social media, so you may have seen it, but I'll show it again here. This is Peace Tree by Little House Needleworks. It's from a little while ago, but it's still available. I think the chart's $7. I had stitched it on 32 Nashville Bright Stars, I think it was. There were 2 denim-y blue sparkle fabrics that came out the same year, 2016, 2017, something like that, from R&R Reproductions, and they did it specifically for the Nashville needlework market, and then they weren't available after that because they don't normally do opalescent fabric, so it was kind of a novelty fabric for them to put out. And the thread I used was the Sulky 12 weight petite, and I was just dinged a couple points. It says, a few threads where the twist got fuller. So I'm thinking, I didn't go back and look with the magnifying glass to see what they were talking about because I don't care. But I do like to use longer thread, longer strands of thread. And so I'm thinking that maybe the length I was using was a little too long. I do remember trying to finish at the end of a row and not end in the middle, because I think sometimes then it is obvious where one X is kind of plump and maybe a little, a teensy bit fuzzy, and then the next one is really crisp and clear. So I did try to end at the end of a row or section instead of in the middle, but it's okay. I still got a blue ribbon, so it's all good there. Okay, so that's, those are my ribbons. And what else was I going to tell you? I haven't watched it yet, but I am so fascinated by Holly Jones at Mrs. Jones Stitches, at how she makes the decisions to enter things at her state fair. And where she lives in Oklahoma is close enough for her to get to the state fair. Here, for me, it would be 2 hours. And of course, I couldn't do that unless I was gonna stay for a week or drive back down and pick up your pieces. So those who are lucky enough to live near their state fair, those are usually the events where there is more quality cross stitch entered. These local fairs, for some reason, they're just not attracting stitchers. When I look at the people that enter, I don't recognize any of the names, maybe one name. but I don't recognize anybody, and they're not my customers, and there's very little to show for it. Sometimes they put the needlework with other things and just call it, home decor or crafts or something. There's not even a true needlework division. But I'm currently watching, I had to stop to film this, but I was currently watching the one where she was showing the pieces that she was going to enter, and I wanted to give it my full attention, so I could no longer be buzzing around the store doing things while listening. I wanted to actually watch that. And then possibly the video after that is one where she shows the ribbons that she received. But it's really fascinating to see how different shows are put on and what their requirements are. And she mentioned some of the changes for this year, that they allowed you to enter more than one piece in each division. And anyway, if you're interested at all in entering a show and just want to see like what kinds of things people put in, or if you just like seeing very interesting finishes, then go watch Mrs. Jones Stitches. You probably already do. Sometimes I've been watching her for a while, but sometimes I'm the last to know about a good floss tuber because I don't have all the time in the world, and I like my true crime, so I got to fit it all in. But anyway, that's a really good one to go watch. I can't wait to see that, to see what ribbons she won and how she manipulated the categories to get her things in wherever they qualified. So okay, I think that's all I needed to do for today. It might be a little shorter than normal, but I have someplace to go this afternoon, and I just wanted to get this done so that all I had to do was load it later after our event. So, okay, thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Well, it looks like I might be going back to filming in my normal manner, because when I got back from the dinner, I filmed a 3-minute segment, portrait style, on my iPhone. And when I put it into iMovie, it still turned into a square and cut it off. So I think when people post videos from their phones, they must also do the whole thing and edit it and upload it all in the same place. That's the only thing I can think of, because I know I've seen YouTube videos where people are in portrait mode. So I'll figure it out eventually. Right now, my phone does not have iMovie loaded onto it. I have the icon, but it says it's in the cloud and it's not available right now. So it looks like I have to have it officially installed at an Apple store. So maybe in the future I'll consider doing that. But for now, I guess we'll just go back to this method. So our dinner this afternoon was part of the Universal Yums idea that Patty had gotten my brother Mark for Christmas last year, but they had been to Egypt earlier this spring, and so they kind of turned this into a bigger party. So it wasn't necessarily this month, but Africa was one of the subscription plans that came this year, and they saved it for when we could all get together. So they had gone on the trip with Patty's brother Tom, his wife Dee, and Tom and Dee's 2 adult children, and then another couple that they knew. And it just worked out really well for them to concentrate the idea of Africa into Egypt. So we did the trivia and read the other things that came along with the Universal Yums package. But then we had Egyptian food, and we watched a slideshow and videos from their trip, which was very fun. So the reason it was at 3:30 was because Patty had found an Egyptian street food restaurant pretty close to their house, just by accident, a little while ago, and thought it would be perfect for this event. But they're only open till 3 on Sundays, so the food had to be picked up by then. And they decided, rather than trying to keep it warm, we would just meet a little bit earlier. So it was very fun, and it was great to hear more stories from their trip. I did follow their journey on Facebook, but it was different hearing the stories in person, and especially from 4 different people that I hadn't heard from before. So it was a very fun afternoon and evening. And so I'll put a picture of all of us at the end. Mark and Patty and Tom and Dee wore some clothing that they had purchased on the trip that was kind of representative of the style, and they thought they could use them for Halloween costumes later. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. So once again, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.